Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Welcome to Quarter Twins, the podcast with only one question. Do you think that Ellie made the right decision at the end of The Last of Us Part 2? That's the question of the day.
Wow, what
it's
a
long
question.
one. That's the question.
And a good one.
That's the question we ask every single week here at Quarter Twins.
That's the only question there is to say, to ask.
Apparently, a lot of people have the wrong opinion about it, and I can
That's
tell you
so
that
true.
for certain.
Have you learned this yourself as well?
Yeah,
Upon investigation?
Because I remember. Well, that's the teaser. We'll get to it.
Oh, so sorry.
We'll have the full conversation. But this is Quarter Twins. We're doing. I didn't say weekly review because that's not what we're called anymore. Because we tried it. We thought, hey, maybe we'll get more listeners if we are more specific and tried a different thing. And it was like, and then we stopped doing it weekly.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna go back to our roots and embrace who we are.
I think ultimately, Quarter Twins is the perfect name.
It is.
It's who we are, guys. You know what I mean?
It's us.
And so
Nobody else is called Quarter Twins.
Yeah. And once we're famous, no one's gonna worry about the name of our podcast. They're just, oh, have you seen the Quarter Twins episode? And then the other person in the conversation will say yes.
No
matter who
every person
on the planet tunes in Tuesday at 10 a.m.
Tuesday at 10 a.m.
Pacific Standard Time.
Specific Standard.
Specifically Pacific Standard Time.
We're gonna do a few different things. We're gonna try to do a little bit more structure. We're gonna be doing now every time we record. We're gonna have a little fun here and there. We're gonna have a little game time.
Oh yeah,
it's just a little something fun, a fun segment that we're gonna talk about a bunch of the drawback to doing these episodes further apart from each other is that we watch lots of things in between recordings, so we have lots of things to talk about. So we're gonna have to do better at just kind of running through a few things, and choose the things we want to spend more time on, such as the new releases that we're going to be talking about today. The Hunger Games, The Ballad of the Songbirds and the Snakes. We both saw, that's a new release, and The Killer we both saw, that's a new release, and Loki
Netflix
Season 2 wrapped up, and we both saw it and have thoughts about it.
Talk about it.
Plus literally like probably 15 to 20 other things. So well, let's get into it. Josh was going to start off with the fun segment.
Oh, wow. Time for the fun segment. This segment I'd like to call, let me pull up the official name here. And future editing Jordan, if you care enough to get this far into the video and, after syncing the audio and you actually want to do a little bit more work, you could hit this with some cool echo or something, yeah? Okay.
Okay, will do.
Joshua vaguely describes plots of movies till Jordan guesses the name of the movie.
Wow.
The Game.
The Game. That's a good title.
Okay.
Maybe there was some reverb or some echo or some delay on that one, and it made it cool.
Juniverse.
Yeah, that's one of the better things we've done. But I don't think anybody really cared. But
they cared. Oh, they cared. I cared.
Okay, so
are we gonna do that this year? Next year?
Yeah, we're gonna find ways to keep.
It's gonna be. Yeah, I didn't watch that one. Yeah, I didn't watch that one from Jordan.
This is we'll talk about later. Never mind. You know what? We'll get there. We gotta stop doing this.
Just a little teaser for you folks, okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
I like the chaos.
We're playing the
Jordan
game.
wants
Joshua.
some structure here.
The game is called Joshua Raceler. Tells Jordan Weaver vaguely describing movie plots until Jordan Weaver guesses the movie that he's describing. The Game.
The Game. That's right. Perfect. Okay, I have compiled a list of 20. Nope. A list of
20.
Sorry. A list of 5 movies from 2023.
Okay, here we go.
These are movies that released this year. So I want you to zero in on movies this year. That way you don't have to think about every movie ever made. All right?
Which I could do that.
Which you could, of course. You have all the plots of those movies.
I will choose
down
not to.
Down to the nines, as they say. So I'm gonna look at this list here and come up with a way to describe the plot as vaguely as possible,
Okay.
while still being true to form here. And
We
then
have
you
not,
are going to.
You have not prepared these ahead of time.
I have not.
have you?
I have the movie. I wrote the movie list down after
Okay.
you texted me getting set up.
Nice.
Because I've been watching Friends all day.
Oh, good choice.
For I mean,
research purposes.
Yeah, for fun, really, to be honest.
That's it's a fun show.
Actually, I woke up early this morning, and I thought today was the day my family was going to get a Christmas tree, so I was up. But that didn't happen. It's tomorrow. So I was just like, I guess I'll watch Friends. And it's great.
Good show.
It's good stuff. So here we go. Number 1. I almost said the name of the movie.
2023.
Here we go.
Movies.
These are 2023 releases that I know you have seen.
I have seen these.
So there's an interesting, it's a small list. You've seen movies this year. How long is your 2023 movie list?
32, 33.
Okay,
so
yeah, I'm right around there. Actually, you've seen 2 more movies than I have. In your diary on Letterboxd is 2 more than me.
Okay.
You're at like 104. I'm at 102. So.
Gotcha. Wow.
But I'm seeing Godzilla -1 tonight. So.
Heck yeah, you are. Let's go.
Hopefully, I can give it a 4.5 for you.
I hope so. Even a 4 would be acceptable.
Okay. All right. I'll leave it down at 4.
Any
all right,
lower
number
than
1.
that,
We gotta go.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
We gotta get this.
We gotta get this rolling. Okay. Here we go. In this film, all right. This is the first movie. Here we go. A man who used to work with the government. Okay. He used to work with the government.
Okay.
And he was operating with a rival agency of sorts. And he got a little deep in the sauce, if you will. And they had to pull him out. And he wanted to retire. He left the government agency. He said, I can't do this anymore. But just when he thought he was out, they pulled him back in. And
Oh. Do I stop you when I know?
Sure.
I think it's Top Gun Maverick. No, that didn't even come out this year.
It did not come out this year. We're looking for 2023 movies.
I know. That's
Jordan.
I'm so silly. I'm so dumb.
So he was working.
Describing to me?
I'm describing it vaguely for you to make it harder.
This is a good game. Can I be looking at a list of 2023 movies, or is that cheap?
Absolutely not.
Dang it!
So he's working in a debris field, looking through cars, and that's just his job. He wanted to get away from it all, so he's out there working, and then the government comes back and they're like, "Hey, man, we got a job, and we need you."
Is this the movie 65 starring Adam
No.
Driver? Damn it!
That isn't correct. And
oh
so
my gosh,
he says, "No, I don't want to do this job." And
it's gonna take
then
a long time.
they show him a picture, and he says, "Shut up! I'll do it. One last ride." And then
is this the movie Fast X?
no, I haven't seen that movie.
I didn't think so.
And so
that sounded very Vin Diesel, though.
he goes to another country, and he performs this operation with this government agency, and they infiltrate this facility in the hopes of capturing an item.
It's the movie The Creator, starring John David Washington.
You got it.
Oh my goodness, it took way too long. This is why this is a good game.
Thank you.
I guessed Top Gun Maverick, which was a terrible guess because one, it didn't come out this year.
Didn't come out this year.
What was the other one I guessed?
65, starring 65. Adam Driver.
I thought, because that's kind of what happens. It's like a guy, he was kind of retired, and then he was like, if you want money, do this job for us, and then he goes out and whatever.
Okay.
Okay, the next one.
All right. Number 2. Here we go. Number 2. We have a family man. Okay. He's just been through a series of traumatic events. Okay. Life-altering events that he's gone through. And he just wants to settle down with his daughter. Right? He just wants not like live a normal life with his daughter, right?
Yeah.
But certain events have come up, and the reality sets in that he can't give up this life that he was living before. He has to, there's a level of responsibility.
Sounds just like the last movie.
And
but I think
so
it's Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, right?
Wow. And there he has it. He got
yes.
it. Barely
Terrible
even scratched the surface of that plot before he was able to get that one. All he had to do was talk about daughter, I guess.
Yeah.
That was the key, the big clue there. And responsibility.
I should have waited to hear how you vaguely describe entering into the quantum realm.
Yeah, I was going to say something like, and then he got smaller. And a little bit smaller than that.
A little smaller.
Yeah. Well done. That's 2 for 2. Okay. I forgot to give you the linchpin of the game here. You get 3 guesses.
Oh.
So the first one, you get 1 point, I guess, for getting it on the third guess. This time you get the first guess. So 3 points to you.
There you go.
For a grand total of 4 out of
I didn't get the first one
15.
I guessed. Top Gun Maverick, then I guessed Fast X, and then I guessed 65.
Oh, 0 points. You failed.
I did not get that one.
Okay, I'll have to be a little bit better then on this next one here.
All right.
Okay, we have a man.
Again.
All these movies start with men.
All these men.
And this guy, he's been through a lot. He's been through some trials and tribulations.
Sure.
And he just wants
like
out.
The last 2.
He just wants out of this life he's been living.
Yeah. Sure.
And, well, there's only one way to do it, and that's to continue to dive into the world he's living in.
This is the movie John Wick Chapter 4, I believe.
Yes, it is.
Speaking of men who used to be a part of something and retired, but now are brought back in and are trying to get out of it again.
I might have to come up with another movie that doesn't involve coming back from something. I didn't notice that all these movies are the same.
Those are all the same.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll hit you with a 6th movie. 3 points to you, friend.
Sweet.
Okay, in this movie we have a man. And this guy, he's in jail. He did some bad stuff. And he got caught doing those things. So here he is, imprisoned, detained, incarcerated. Okay. And he and his friend they want to get out, so they get out. And they got plans to reunite our man. He needs to find his daughter. You know, he did some things for his daughter, and maybe he led himself down the wrong path, dark times, that sort of thing. He ended up in jail, but now he's out, whether intentionally or not, and he's out, and he says, geez, I got to go find my daughter. And so they go into town, but it takes a while to get there, and they meet some friends along the way, and they make it into town, and there's a big party happening in town. And this party is crazy and doesn't come around very often. So once it, now that the party's happening, it's like, oh, it's time for this big party, and everybody's hype, and it's fun, and there's lots of fun going on, and the citizens are happy and pleased. And we find our hero's, our protagonist's daughter, and she's like, Dad, you're an idiot. I don't love you anymore. And I'm happy living in this castle with your best friend.
Oh. The one with the Dungeons and Dragons. Honor and Among Thieves.
Honor and Among Thieves is correct, sir.
Yes,
you found it. Back in the
Completely forgot
recesses of your mind.
that movie exists.
That movie came out this year.
This
I
year.
remember you commenting just about that the last time we recorded, so I thought that'd be a funny movie to bring into the list.
Yeah, that could have come out 5 years ago, as far as I know.
Great movie, to be honest. I had a lot
What
of
happens
fun.
after that? They're like,
They
you
find out that he betrayed them.
there's an evil witch,
And there's
she's
an
like,
evil witch,
I'm gonna
and she's
kill
gonna kill everybody.
everyone.
Yeah.
They're like, we're gonna stop you with the power of friendship and camaraderie and a campaign.
There you go. Dungeons.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay,
Right,
and
that
our
was pretty
final game. Our final
Game.
our final one, unless you want to do another since the first the John Wick one was too easy.
It's all right.
Okay. In a world
There you go.
where there's a guy and
Wait a minute. Are all movies about men? Dang.
wouldn't they hope they were, some men.
Yep. Some men would.
They would. Not me, not I.
They don't like to see movies about girls. But girls just want
women.
to have fun.
Oh. Anyway,
Continue.
there's this guy, and he's a kid right now, actually.
Okay.
And he's with his sister, and things are not good. Things are not good right now, and they see some terrible things, and then they get older, and they're living in the city now, and things are okay now, but it's like not for everybody. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're surrounded by rich people, and
Yeah.
they're not super rich, but they might have been in the past. Who knows? And
Maybe perhaps there eventually is a series of games that start happening later in this movie called The Hunger Games. Is that what we're talking about?
I don't know.
I believe it's The Hunger Games. It's the only movie with a boy and a sister starting out. A movie that I can think of.
You are correct. It is
Yes.
Hunger Games: The Ballad of Dumb Birds and Snakes, and you got it. I'm bad at describing movies vaguely.
It's all right. It's well, that one is more recent, so I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
you
that
watched
just
it like a week ago.
Yep.
So, woohoo! Okay, let me
was
do
good.
one more for you. Let me do one more
go
for
ahead.
you.
Go ahead.
Let me try one more for you, and
Let me
I'm
hear.
I'm gonna open up the floor to the entire universe. Okay.
Okay.
All the movies. Okay. We start in a forest. Okay.
This is all the movies that have ever been
These are all
made,
the
right?
movies. Yeah.
This will be harder for sure.
Yeah. We start in a forest. The camera is rising over a rolling hill.
Okay.
And we see a deer drinking out of a small pool of
Okay.
water.
Sure.
Okay. We are in the United States of America,
Mm-hmm.
in what is formerly known as the Pacific Northwest. And
Formerly known as the Pacific Northwest?
Currently, I guess
Within the world of
Within-
the movie?
within the
It's
world of the
formerly
movie, it is within the world of the movie. It is still currently known as.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why. I think I meant to say formally, not
Well,
formerly.
I gotcha.
Formally known as
with
the
you.
Pacific Northwest. And we find a girl,
Mm-hmm.
and she's living in this place now, and she's the child of divorce, and
Oh, yes.
she's a new girl in school,
Girl at
and
school.
she's meeting
Perhaps
some people.
Perhaps in the state of Washington, you might
That could be.
You might even say.
That could be.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Pacific
yeah.
Northwest.
Keep going. Continue.
And there are some people there at this school who
Yeah.
are clearly cool,
They look a bit
People.
off.
and one of them has a name, and I can't say the name because obviously that'd give it away to you. And
Yeah.
he's just not like other guys. He's got this glow about
Like
him.
the other boys. Yeah.
He sparkles like no other. His
Sparkling.
eyes are amber.
Yeah.
beyond compare. Chiseled jawbone, high cheekbones,
Uh-huh.
just immaculate young man.
Interesting.
And she gets to she partners up with him on the first day in chemistry. They have chemistry together. Yeah.
I'm remembering the plot of this movie that I don't know the name of.
And he's acting a little weird. And it looks like, I don't know, he looks like he just can't stand to smell her. This girl. that he is just
this is getting less vague and a bit more specific.
And so anyway, she wants to go out with the guy, and the guy doesn't want to go out with her because he's a vampire, and it's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. It's casually a vampire.
Dad is concerned about people dying and going missing in his town, and he thinks it's a bear, but it's these vampires. And she gets bit by a vampire, and then she's gonna turn into a vampire or die, and he has to suck the blood out of her arm or neck or wherever.
Sucks it right out of her.
Yeah, and then the movie's over. What movie is it? I got through the whole movie, and you didn't even guess one time, so I think I win.
I believe that's a movie called Twilight.
Oh, he got it. How'd you get it, dude?
I got it because like I got it pretty early on when you said a deer
you know about the deer.
Camera goes up to the deer. I knew about that, so.
Yeah. That's the most iconic shot in all of film, so you should know about the deer.
Yeah. It's in the IMDb top 10 highest rated movies of all time.
Right.
Twilight.
Right up there with Cabin in the Woods, I believe. Did that come out this year?
It's Cabin in the Woods.
With Dave Bautista?
Oh. Is that what that movie's called? I think it is. I think you're right. I was thinking of something else.
Thanks.
It did
The
come
World
out
Ends?
this year. It's okay. It's kind of... I don't think about it often. I'll put it that way. I will put it that way.
All right, let's talk about some random...
That's on your list of things to talk about.
Oh, it is. Look at that. We're in the middle of a Star Wars marathon here, but my Disney Plus ran out.
Made any progress on that?
Haven't made any progress on that, so we decided to start a Twilight marathon instead.
Yeah.
One day. And I've seen the first one, so I still haven't made any progress in terms of seeing new movies. But we saw Twilight, and it was fun, you know?
It's a fun movie.
The movie. There's a lot of lore, okay?
True.
In this world that Stephanie Meyer has illustrated for us. And it's just a good time, you know? I liked it. What did I give it? Like a 3?
It's very silly.
It's a good time, though, you know? It's
very
like
silly movie.
It's like one of those movies where you watch it because you know, like, it's Twilight, you know?
Yeah.
It's a Twilight movie. You're not in it for the film. You're there for the hormones, if you will, of it all.
There are many hormones.
There are plenty. I don't know how Robert Pattinson recovered
abundant
from these movies in terms of his acting career.
He's made quite a name for himself. Yeah.
That's him. Most of the movie.
It's very good. Very good.
All right. You talk now.
I had a few hours to myself while we were on a trip in Dallas, Texas. And Lord knows I don't want to do anything in Dallas, Texas. So I stayed in the hotel room and I watched a few movies. I was trying to watch movies because what happens is I have this long watch list of movies that I need to watch, and then I end up just watching the same movies over and over again.
Isn't that just the way?
So I was like, you know what? Right now I'm going to watch some movies on my watch list. So I watched a movie. Speaking of Robert Pattinson, I watched a movie called Good Time, starring Robert Pattinson and Benny Safdie. I've heard this is like Robert Pattinson's best role, like his best acting of all time. It's like this amazing movie. One of my most trusted YouTubers. It's like one of his favorite movies. I watched it and it was really boring and not very good. And I didn't think Robert Pattinson was actually that good. And he sexually assaults a 16-year-old. And, you know, it wasn't great. I didn't love it. it's about this guy who has a brother who's mentally challenged, and Robert Pattinson kind of manipulates him into robbing a bank with him, and then his brother Benny Safdie, who's mentally challenged, gets put in prison, but Robert Pattinson doesn't get put into prison. And my cat is trying to break in this door. I'll cut that up. It looked like there was an intruder in my house. Anyway, there was a point in the movie where there was a really cool twist that happens, and then the rest of the movie was not very good. So I was like, lame. I'll watch another movie. I have even more time. I'm going to watch a second movie immediately after this one. I watched the movie Ex Machina, starring
Vikander.
This is crazy.
I believe. Donald Gleason and Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac and the guy from the Star Wars movies. Donald Gleason. AI, Oscar Isaac makes an AI lady, and it's the most predictable movie I've ever seen in my entire life. I was like, okay, whatever. Wow. Then on the way home from Dallas, I was like, yeah, go ahead.
I have a thought about that, actually. Because Ex Machina famously is one of the more famous, iconic animes of all time.
Okay.
And has really bent the sci-fi genre as a whole to its will, I would say. So when you watch a movie like this that is based off of something that so many movies have drawn inspiration from,
yeah,
are you able to separate the fact that, like, you watch all these movies that are inspired by Ex Machina, and then you go and watch Ex Machina for the first time, and you see all these tropes that you've seen so many times, but when this movie came out, maybe they weren't tropes. Maybe this movie was interesting and cool and awesome, and that's why it was so successful at the time, i.e. 2001's A Space Odyssey, which is a terribly boring, terrible movie.
Yeah.
I did not finish. But so many movies are inspired by it at the time, like...
Absolutely.
This is Stanley Kubrick's masterpiece. Everybody loves this movie so much. And Ex Machina could be really, really good if it came out 30 years ago, right?
Sure.
So when you watch this movie, I haven't seen it, obviously. Well, maybe not obviously. It's a sci-fi movie. I should have seen them all.
Yeah.
Did that ever cross your mind, like, maybe I need to come at this with a 1970s perspective, perhaps?
I mean, sure, like, there are aspects of it that were, like, interesting, and I can tell, like, well, when did Ex Machina come out, the movie I'm talking about? Like 2000?
Probably 2016, 2017, maybe?
14? I don't know.
It could be even older.
I think it's a little bit older than that. But
Oscar Isaac hadn't been in Star Wars yet, had he?
No, so pre-2014. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know there was an anime at all. That's new information to me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
2015.
I felt like, well, that's not even, like, it was predictable. There was a good additional twist that happened that I thought was very effective. But I thought it didn't explore its themes enough. It was, like, kind of short, and I was like, you could have explored that a little bit more instead of going down a particular road with Oscar Isaac's character. That I was like, I don't know if you need to do that. I think you can stretch this out a bit longer and make it more interesting. But
interesting.
It was okay. I think, like, undoubtedly inspired a lot of other things, and it does have implications to, AI in the current generation. But yeah, I don't know. It was fine. Kind of interesting.
Okay, and then you saw one more movie.
I did.
In Dallas.
Watched. So another movie that has been talked up to me. The movie called Mother! Exclamation point.
Mother!
I've heard nothing but amazing things about Mother. That this is Jennifer Lawrence her magnum opus of acting. She's never acted better in her entire life. This movie will blow your mind because of how good she is in it. So I go into it not knowing anything about the movie, and which is a fun place to be, to not know anything about a movie and watch it.
It's a great place to be.
And so I watch it, and it's like pretty interesting for the whole thing, and I'm completely oblivious to the fact that this movie is known for being very controversial, quote controversial.
Yes, the most controversial movie of all time.
Of all time, they said, yes. So I watched this movie. It's like a pretty normal feeling, mysterious thriller, not horror, but like uncomfortable. Something is off. Yeah. It's uncomfortable. You know, things are like the Shining vibes. You're not sure what's happening, but you're freaked out about it, and you don't want to see what's around the corner. You don't want to see what's in the basement. You don't want those people to keep showing up at your front door. As I'm watching it, becomes increasingly more clear that this movie is an allegory for a very specific message, and the actual idea and allegory that it's striking is very interesting. But what happens in the last 20 to 30 minutes is the director goes, okay, I want attention, so I'm going to make this the most shocking, controversial thing you've ever seen in your entire life. And I'm not gonna quote spoil it. I'm not recommending.
I'm never gonna watch it
because I don't think it's worth the trauma. It's just like, because what he does is extremely upsetting, and it's more upsetting because you know he didn't have to do this thing that he does, one specific thing that he does, and shows you that you really don't need to see. And it's very obvious that he just did it because he wanted to be cool and interesting, and get people talking about him and how controversial he is and how cool he is and how deep his movie is. And I'm awesome. I thought it was gross, and I don't like this person anymore. I don't remember the director's name, and on top of that, Jennifer Lawrence is not that good in this movie. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just upset because people told me this was like the best acting I'll ever see, and it was fine.
You should see No Hard Feelings.
And it's yeah, right. It's on my list for 2023 movies. It's upsetting because the allegory is actually really cool and interesting and important, and it could be really deep and meaningful, but it's just gross because you turned it into shock value, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't recommend it. So
brutal.
Screw that guy.
Screw that guy.
Yeah, it was fine. So I had a long list of movies that I needed to watch, and all of them disappointed me to some level, so that was very upsetting. And then some other movies that also kind of disappointed me. But then a couple movies that I really liked. So we'll get there. But anything else you want to talk about in these, or you want to go to some new releases here?
Yeah, really quickly. 2 TV shows that are out right now that we're watching. Scavenger's Reign is a sci-fi animated thriller of sorts, where this crew of the Demeter has crash landed on a planet, and it's just about these several pockets of survivors. Like, when I say pockets, I mean like groups of 1 to 2 people are surviving on this planet, and one of the groups has the captain of the ship, and he's able to bring the Demeter back down to the planet, and he knows that there's a ship in the hangar bay that they can escape on. So they're gonna all these different groups of people that are scattered across the planet see the ship crash down, and they're trying to get back to the ship. And along their journey, we get a lot of stories about adaptation and growth and sci-fi things like that. And this planet has all these different ecosystems and we get to learn how they all work and how these animals survive, and everything is out here to kill you, and everything has like there's very interesting ways that these creatures have evolved in their planet without humans. Some things have superpowers. A lot of things like work together very well, while also being like they're symbiotic and parasitic at the same time. Things grow and change a lot. There's like every single episode, you're gonna see an animal with something cool going on it.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
this animal, it's a plant, right? And it grows these little pods, and it stabs a living creature, and it takes the blood of that creature and creates a clone of it, and then the clone pops out of the pod and hangs out with the crew, with the rest of its herd. And then when they're all sleeping, it grows and swells and explodes. And then the acid from its exploding body melts all the living beings and creatures. And then from their carcasses sprouts new plants. And that's how this plant reproduces. And you're like, wow, that's relevant. And so then, like, throughout the episode, you see these creatures in the background that look sick and stuff. And you're like, what's up with that? And then you see this plant, and it stabs one of the guys. And you're like, oh, my gosh, he stabbed that guy. He took his blood. And then later in the episode, you see in the pod in the background, there's like a dude in this pod. And you're like, oh, my gosh, it's cloning him and stuff. And so now you know, like, oh, my gosh, you know, and it's happening. And it's interesting and cool and fun. And this is like every episode, something is going on. Somebody's about to die. And it's cool and great. And every character has something that they need to learn. And we get flashbacks from when they were on the ship and they hadn't learned their lesson yet. And it's not like they have the most revolutionary ideas ever when it comes to character moments and character arcs and stuff.
Yeah.
But the world that they're presented in and how they're coming to their conclusions is what's interesting. And I think it's very, very good. 12 episodes, 20, 30 minutes with ads. Really, really good. Enjoyed it quite a bit.
Into it.
That's on Max, the one to watch for HBO.
A great streaming service, if I've ever seen one.
And then For All Mankind Season 4 is dropping. Let me just casually throw that in there. I'm living my best life right now.
Yeah, this is
watched
your
the first episode last week, and we are in the 2000s. We've made it to the 2000s now.
Holy cow.
And we've added some characters. We've killed off a few. And things are changing. Let's just say. And
are you into it?
I'm into it. There's a new character who's come on hard times, and he's been laid off the oil rigs because clean energy is the future, and they've lost, all the people who were working in these fossil fuel industries have lost their jobs, and so he's like, guess I gotta go to Mars to work on the Mars.
Whoa.
So
go work on Mars.
Happening. Gotta go. Come on, honey. It's only a 5-year trip.
That's far away.
So
that's very.
I'm interested to see where his character goes and how it's like we'll get more interesting allegory, as you used the term earlier, on perhaps capitalism and
perhaps
the consequences of progress. I'm interested to see where it goes. Characters have moved to Russia, that sort of thing.
Oh, wow.
North Korea is still involved. Yeah. So it's exciting. I'm excited about it. Let's talk about our big movies.
I got 3 seasons to watch.
Yeah, I'm excited for you to actually follow through on that, because I don't think you will. Personally, that's not a challenge or anything, I'm not trying to guilt trip you into showing you the movie or watching the show, I should say. But yeah.
Okay, big movies.
Big movies.
The Hunger Games. Actually, no. Let's start with The Killer. The Killer came out.
Okay.
I saw it. I got to see it in the theater. It came out on Netflix a week later, but I got to see an early screening a cool guy, like a cool film guy.
Bro.
The Killer is a movie about Michael Fassbender. Fassbender is the titular killer. Okay,
Ooh,
he is
okay.
the killer. No. I want to make it clear that later, when I say that John Wick is better, I want to make it clear that I did not go into this movie expecting John Wick. I knew it wasn't going to be John Wick. Right. I'm just positing the truth that John Wick does this concept better. For me, I mean, it's like, who am I to critique David Fincher?
That's the Finchman.
Mr. Fincher, which I haven't seen. I don't think any of his other films. No. I've seen
The Social
Zodiac.
Network.
Zodiac is great. I haven't seen any of the other ones.
You haven't seen The Social Network?
No.
Are you even a film bro?
I'm not a Jesse Eisenberg guy.
Andrew Garfield, dude.
I know.
It's probably his best performance. IMO.
I'll see it someday. But
it's so good, actually.
Anyway, this is Michael Fassbender, and he is a contract killer. He's literally the best in the business, and I really enjoyed the first probably 20 minutes when we're listening to his inner monologue as he's kind of taking us through his inner process and what it takes to be this kind of killer. And he's kind of talking himself up like nobody is better at this than me. And these are all the things you have to do. You have to cut yourself off from emotion, and you have to you have to center yourself. And he's doing all these stretches and things and he's camping out in this abandoned building across from the building that he needs to kill this guy in. And then it's like 20 minutes of him just like kind of building himself up. And then, spoilers, he gets to the part where he's about to pull the trigger, and he's like, this is what it takes to be a killer. And then he misses, and he kills the wrong person. And then this sets off the rest of the movie. And then I was extremely disappointed when this movie became, Michael Fassbender has a wife or a girlfriend or a partner of some kind, and some people mess her up, and now he's angry at them, and now he's going to go on a killing spree, just like every other movie like this I've ever seen. Like this is just like everything else. This is just like John Wick. It's literally the same, except it's not as cool. And I know I'm just an action guy over here. I like action, and there is a really good action sequence in The Killer.
There is a great one.
There's basically one action scene that's really good. And I'm here for slow burns. I'm here for slow, methodical thrillers. But I did not think this movie was interesting. So that's all I have to say. What did you think?
I think that there's one scene in the middle of the movie, closer to the end, I suppose, wherein Michael Fassbender is having a conversation with one of the people that messed up his girlfriend, partner, wife.
Mm-hmm.
And her name is Tilda Swinton.
Yes.
And the person he's talking to, not the girlfriend, partner, wife. And Tilda is basically, she's telling the story about a hunter.
Yes.
And how the hunter is hunting this bear, and he misses his shot, and he gets punished by the bear.
Right.
In a way. And then he goes back to exact his revenge on the bear, and he misses again, and he gets punished again, and then he goes back, and he misses again, and he gets punished again, and eventually the bear asks, he says, "You're not really here for the hunting, are you?" And I think that the movie is about this, like the whole movie is this bear hunting story.
Yes.
Where he missed this shot and his girlfriend got beat up. And honestly, he probably could have done nothing, lived his happy life.
Right.
Doing whatever. Because he clearly has a ton of money. And that would have been that. But he kind of made a problem for himself.
Yep.
And started killing all these people to exact his revenge, even though he didn't have to.
Yep.
And it causes more problems for him and almost his life, obviously, as he's in these big action sequences. And then, you know, at the end of the film, he makes a choice or whatever, to not kill somebody or to kill somebody. Who knows?
Who knows?
And it's very like I don't know. The movie is like, this is a concept we'd like to explore, and this is how obvious we're gonna make it.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know. I wrote in my review, I said this movie was kind of nothing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I could have watched this as like a TV special where it was just this dinner conversation, and I would have been like, cool, interesting, and then called it a day.
Yeah.
It looked good. The acting was good.
did.
The writing was good. It was all there.
Sure.
But the core concept was a little flat for me, I guess, is my big thing on that one.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, I just thought, like, it didn't explore, I don't know, I said what I needed to say. It just kind of, it just fell flat for me, and sounds like for you as well. Could have explored its themes a little bit more. Had more Tilda Swinton, and then I would have been happy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was interesting, like Michael Fassbender, like the filmmaking of it, like, it's not like, it's different from John Wick in that in John Wick you have obviously the main character, John Wick, and then you have a cast of supporting characters that you spend a lot more time with. But in this movie, you're spending every second of screen time, Michael Fassbender is in the scene. And that's interesting. He's in the scene, and you meet people, and probably most of them will not make it past this scene alive. Like, most of the people he runs into end up dead at the end of the... So you have nobody else to connect to, so you're just with him, which is an interesting concept. But at the same time, like, I thought, like, so they didn't explore his relationship with his wife, girlfriend, partner person, and I couldn't get a reading on, like, who is this Michael Fassbender character? Like, is he, what is his personality? How does he have a girlfriend, partner, wife? What is her part in this? Is she in it for the money? Like, or what is this about? I couldn't connect to him or anybody else, and it was just like, you want me to be interested in the kills he's doing? Because I'm not really that much.
You're not interested in the kills?
Not really, no.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know. It was okay. But it's not very high on my list of 2023 movies, I must say. Again, who am I to judge David Fincher? He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
But we saw The Hunger Games, The Ballad of the Songbirds and Snakes.
Yes.
Now, I haven't read any of the books. I started reading The Hunger Games, the first one.
Oh.
After we saw the movie. I've seen all the movies, though. I like the movies a lot. The superior young adult novel adaptation movies from any of the other ones I've seen.
I would say that the movies are by far the best of all the YA adaptations.
Yeah, I do think, did you have to split Mockingjay into two movies? Probably not, but I honestly don't. I don't hate part one. A lot of people don't like part one because they say it's, quote, boring, and I'm like, well, there's a lot of world building and interesting commentary on things, so I'm like, yes, please.
Yeah, and Philip Seymour Hoffman.
And Philip Seymour Hoffman shows up in Catching Fire, and he's amazing. Gone too soon, Philip Seymour Hoffman. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
I love you. But yeah, the new movie came out, starring Rachel Zegler, a prequel, and Tom Blythe plays Coriolanus Snow.
That's right.
And what happens in this movie, Joshua, as you started to vaguely describe?
I was vaguely describing. Okay. This movie is about the 10th Hunger Games.
Yes.
So after the Dark Days, which was the first major rebellion after the established Panem. Well, there was an apocalypse, and North America was the only livable land left.
That was a
apparently.
question I had afterwards. I was like, is this, because I didn't know, because I hadn't read the books. I had no idea if this was actually set on Earth or if this was a fictional planet.
Yeah. This is
But apparently it is.
after World War III, we'll say.
Yes.
When the apocalyptic worlds all have begun. Post World War III. So excited for post-apocalyptic world.
Let's go.
Can't wait. Because it's coming soon, you know. We're excited about it. So there was a new nation was set up, and then there were the Dark Days. And after the Dark Days came the country of Panem, which consists of the capital city and 13 districts.
Yep.
And these 13 districts, which one of which was destroyed, District 13, was obliterated. And as punishment for their rebellion against the capital will take 2 sons and daughters, one son and one daughter specifically from each district of the 12, totaling 24 children, ages 12 to 18, and throw them in a circle and have them kill each other till one remains. And this is called the Hunger Games. And they televise it for the whole nation as like a sick, cruel joke every year to show how awful the world is. And this is the 10th one of those. And people aren't watching anymore. It's not interesting anymore.
They're already bored. Just after 10 of them, they're like...
Death battles.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. And so this year, they decide to up the stakes. We're going to get to know our people. And in doing so, we're going to have mentors from the capital to mentor our tributes. And so we can get to know them, and the people will care about, they want to choose a winner, they want to see who's going to win, and they hope that the person that they like will win, and they can offer money, and then the mentors can use that money to give their player something, and it'll be more interesting and viewable as a sport of sorts.
People need somebody to root for. They want to people to like and people to not like. To root against. To
heroes,
be really
villains, songbirds, snakes, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
So our Coriolanus Snow is the mentor for District 12's female tribute, Lucy Gray Baird. Lucy Gray Baird.
Yep.
And she is a singer, and people like her, and she's in there. And they kind of form a sort of kinship through these trials.
A bond.
And the Hunger Games happen, and somebody has to be left alive at the end. And the movie will continue after that point as well.
It will. It will.
Yes.
Certainly. To avoid spoilers.
Yes.
But yeah, this movie is three parts. You got the first part, you got the second part, and you got the third part. And
that's right.
I've heard a lot of people say the third part is boring, and I say, what? The third part is maybe the best part. I don't know. Maybe? Do I think that?
I'd say so, actually.
Here's the thing: is like part of this movie is like, oh, the Hunger Games are boring now. We need to make them not boring. But actually, in the movie, the Hunger Games themselves are a little bit boring, which is a bit thematic. So you're kind of like, okay, let's get through this, because at this point, they just kind of throw them into a small room. I mean, smaller than the like Catching Fire, like expansive jungle,
giant.
You know, it's like an arena, like a baseball field maybe.
A literal like a coliseum
situation. So you don't have much to watch because they're all just kind of there and not very many places to hide. But something happens a little bit before that creates a few options to hide around. So that kind of draws the games out a bit. But yeah, I thought I had high expectations because I heard it was pretty good, and I liked all the actors involved. And I knew that it was about Coriolanus Snow, which, spoiler alert, is President Snow from the ones, the main ones.
The main ones. Yeah.
I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
I thought it was very fun. Interesting world building, and it was just fascinating to watch how the Capitol is dealing with the Hunger Games as a sport. They're like, obviously they're talking about how to make it more interesting, and like the obvious thing being like, you're talking about killing children. Like, what are you talking about? Like, this is obviously a bad thing that they're doing. But so Coriolanus is part of the group of, I guess they're high school. They're also high school students, or maybe going into college, that they're trying to. This group of seniors in high school, essentially, that are trying to win the Hunger Games with their tribute, so that they'll receive an award that will essentially give them the ability to go to the good college in Pan Am or whatever.
Yeah.
And so Coriolanus, he shows himself. You're kind of rooting for him because you want him to succeed because he's likable. He has a likable sister, and he's providing for his grandmother. And he comes up with the idea to. He's the one who comes up with the idea to humanize the tributes, to get them in front of the camera and to try to get them to be likable so that people can root for them. And you're kind of on his side because he's nice to Lucy Gray. He wants her to win. And the whole time you're like, is he just manipulating her? Is she just manipulating him? Like, do they actually love each other? And this is the thing that carries you throughout the whole movie. Just super interesting. And having not read the book, there's something that happens at the end, a revelation of sorts, with Peter Dinklage's character that I thought was fantastic. Very much enjoyed that little taste of his motivations. I was like, well, that's so interesting. And this, maybe President Snow is not a good person. Maybe we shouldn't root for him. And maybe he's the bad guy. Oh no. This is Revenge of the Sith. He's turning into the villain. I thought it was awesome. It's doing really well at the box office, which is good because it wasn't projected to do very well for some reason. I don't know why. It's the Hunger Games. But what did you think? I heard the few people I knew who saw it before me, they thought Rachel Zegler was terrible. They said she's awful, she's cringy. They hated her performance. And I was like, okay, please be nice to Rachel Zegler, my friend.
My friend.
What did you think? Because she does sing a lot, and I didn't know that her character in District 12 was like kind of the Appalachian culture, like bluegrass and this sort of vibe. She has this kind of Valley Girl accent. I thought she was great, and she sings a bit.
She sings a bit, a good bit.
The first song she sings, which I guess I won't spoil when that is, but I did think it was a bit out of place. It came a little bit out of nowhere.
Yes,
it was a bit strange, but everything else I thought was great, especially in the third act, when she's singing with her band, and Coriolanus may or may not be there. I thought it was really good. Yeah,
may not. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was pretty good. I have nothing negative to say about her performance. I think Snow was better.
Yeah.
Overall,
he was really good. Tom Blythe.
And I am a huge Viola Davis fan.
Mm-hmm. She's really good.
So
Jason Schwartzman as Lucky Flickerman.
Yep, awesome,
hilarious,
awesome stuff. Amateur magician in that.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are a lot of actors in this movie having a lot of fun, and whenever actors are having fun acting, I think it really portrays, like it makes the movie feel better, like happier in a way. Even
you can tell these people they like each other and they're all having fun. And the direction's really good. The camera work, they're using these like extremely wide angle lenses, and we saw it in IMAX, and just filling the screen with like beautiful photography. I thought was amazing. And I loved that they just were like, we're just gonna make one movie out of this, and it's gonna be good, and we're not gonna stretch it over. We're not gonna pull The Hobbit and make 3 movies out of a book.
The Hobbit,
and they're all gonna be kind of mid.
I actually thought it could have done 2.
Yeah, I mean, sure, it probably could have.
I think, I mean, it's hard because I do actually like the very obvious 3 parts.
Yeah.
And maybe if this movie ended with the end of the Hunger Games itself, maybe the 3rd movie wouldn't have been as good on its own.
Yeah.
So, but like when I originally saw it, I felt like we didn't have enough time to fully understand the complex relationship of these 2 characters.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't really get to know Lucy Gray that much.
Yeah.
Which is...
I think...
Go ahead.
The movie is very much from Snow's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's in almost every scene, if not every scene. I don't know. Maybe he's in every single one.
Pretty much.
I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of giving unreliable narrator vibes. And so, yeah, Lucy Gray doesn't feel like a super fleshed out character. And that might just be because Snow is telling the story. Yeah. And so he kind of...
I think that's good. A good storytelling perspective. You know her and you see her for as long as Snow is on her side. And then, eventually... Mm-hmm. Maybe she's not on his side, and then she fades from his view. So,
yeah. Maybe she gets shot.
Interesting. Maybe.
Who knows?
But maybe she's still out there somewhere.
Maybe there's a unicorn dancing in the forest.
Maybe. So
that's a Blade Runner reference. Thank you.
I've seen it, but I don't remember anything about it. I thought it was
it was around the time that Harrison Ford did that bad thing to that woman.
Yeah. Don't like that movie at all. Didn't like it. Ugh. Why does he do that? I will
watch that movie from start to finish just for the monologue at the very end.
Yeah.
I love that monologue so much.
It's pretty good, but one thing we need to talk about is The Last of Us Part 2. But let's just quickly. Loki season 2 came and went.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was phenomenal. I thought it was great. So let's go.
I thought
the MCU is back. As always.
Okay, dude. You haven't even seen the Marvels yet.
No. And
you're like refusing to for some reason.
I can't do it. I can't bring myself to do it.
I don't understand it. I saw Loki season 2 and I really wasn't having fun much at all until the last episode. I watched the last episode and I was like, wait a minute. Maybe this is the greatest Marvel show of all time.
Yeah. Last episode was really good.
The last episode was really good. Spoilers, I guess. Does anybody still care about the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
No, nobody cares.
Okay, so then this is like Loki's ending.
Yeah. So I don't think anybody knew that was coming, but
yeah. He's just going to be chilling in the end of time realm.
Yep.
Holding all of time together. Holding the multiverse by the literal strands of time forever.
Yep.
So that's cool, I guess. And it's cool. Here's the one thing I care enough to talk about for this show.
Go ahead.
Purpose is Glorious by Natalie Holt should win an Oscar. The song is so good. It's so beautiful. And I can't get enough of it, actually. It's so good.
So good.
Yeah.
Already an amazing score. And then at the end, she pulls out this incredible song during this sequence that is just, it's heartbreaking and it's tragic, but it's also super inspiring and hopeful. It's like these stories where they take villains and turn them into heroes, but they're like the kind of anti-hero. It's like, I thought this was a really good ending for somebody who has committed war crimes and has murdered many people, who has turned his life around and done something heroic. He gets this throne that he's always wanted, and his purpose is glorious, but it's also kind of a punishment,
Right.
an eternal damnation of sorts. I just thought that was interesting concept. Like they could have done something less interesting, but they did something interesting. Now, will the MCU ever revisit this or mention it, or probably just retcon it? They might just retcon it and bring him back for the next movie. I don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows?
But I thought it was a fitting end, as you said. He gets his throne.
Yeah.
He gets his ending, but it's not an ending that's like purely happy, right?
No.
He's done these horrible things, so he gets what's coming to him in a way.
Yeah.
So that's great stuff.
Great stuff.
And then like a week after the TV show ended, I should say, they released The Marvels, and I've seen it 2 times. For Jordan's 0 times. I watched it with my friends and loved one. And then I went and saw it with my dad for his birthday. A late birthday present of sorts, an experience.
Yep.
And watching Marvel movies with your dad, quintessential. That's what an experience.
Core memories.
Yeah, he is such a goof and a gaff, and he makes every movie I watch better and funnier.
Yeah,
because he's like the kind of guy that will watch this movie and think all the bad jokes are funny, and then you're like laughing with him, even though you don't think the joke is funny. You're still laughing at it because you're like, I don't know, you gotta try it. You gotta watch movies with my dad. It's really,
I would love to.
You gotta watch Ant-Man and the Wasp with my dad.
I'll do it.
That might be his favorite Marvel movie.
It's the only thing that could get me to watch that movie is watching with him.
He loves that movie. It's a good time. Yeah. So we'll talk about that movie eventually, I suppose.
Maybe one day.
But you want to talk about The Last of Us 2 before we get out.
I do. We just need to have the update because I did finish the game. And I loved it. I thought it was a masterpiece beginning to end, even though I thought it was going to be over it. I thought it was going to end at 3 different points. But it kept going, and it was well worth my time.
There you go.
As you said it would be. And you had mentioned that there was sort of a turning point where if I didn't enjoy what was about to happen, then I would really hate it. But if I just stuck with it,
stuck through it,
embraced it, I would love it, and I sure did. So where we last left off, I had gotten to the Abby flashback after she breaks into the theater, after Ellie kills her friends and all that, and then it cuts to a flashback. And then I played the rest of the game through from that point on. And so from that point on, you're playing the game from Abby's perspective. So this is obviously spoilers for anybody who cares or whatever.
That game came out a year ago.
I'm going to talk about the entire game. So Abby's perspective starting... so that flashback is a day or two before the end of the first game, where she's with her dad, and then her dad gets called to the hospital because they found this kid, being Ellie, who they think they can find a cure, so he goes there and whatever, and then the end of the first game happens where Joel kills her dad. I think I knew that going in. I couldn't remember if I had just called it at the beginning that was what was going to happen, or if I was if that information was spoiled for me on Twitter, which
subconscious.
But that wasn't really a revelation for me, but I had been waiting.
It might have
for
even
this.
been me.
Yeah, I had been waiting for this revelation and things to start happening. So anyway, you get that revelation, and then you get Seattle Day 1 from Abby's perspective. And so you're at the WLF camp, and you're with Abby and her friends, and they're having a good time, and you start to like these people. You're with Abby, Manny, and Mel, who's pregnant.
Preggers.
And the dog. I forget the name of the dog. But They're
East. I don't remember.
They're sent out on a mission of sorts. They don't know where Owen is. Owen is out there somewhere, and then they find out that Owen is in trouble because he may have allegedly killed one of the WF members to save a Scar. And so he's kind of on the run, hiding from Isaac, who's the leader of the WLF, a scary man. And so Abby is like, I gotta go find Owen. So she splits off from the gang and goes to find Owen. She thinks, you find out that the aquarium is this kind of special place for Owen and Abby.
So true.
Owen discovered it and kind of turned it into his little special hideout for him. And at this point, they're not married, but Mel is pregnant with Owen's baby. Mm-hmm. You find out that, and then Abby is trying to get the aquarium, just like in Ellie's part of the game. You run into Scars, you got to fight them off. If you run into Infected, you got to fight them off. At one point, Abby gets captured by the Scars. She's taken to their camp or whatever. And at this point, she's on the island. She is, she's about to be killed, and then these two individuals, whose names are escaping me.
Lev. And a girl. I don't know her.
Yep.
The girl.
Lev and the other one save Abby, killing a few of these Scars, and they're trying to escape because Lev shaved their head, and that's really bad, and they're trying to kill them because of it. So they're on the run. And so they kind of team up with Abby to get away from these people. And they escape the island eventually. I'm trying to remember in what order these things happen.
Crazy climactic war.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane.
Yeah. So they got to
on fire. It's epic.
Yeah. So the stories converge where the WLF has planned their last stand against the Scars on their island, and this is where everybody is, and there's a big climactic battle. Everything is on fire, and it's very fun. And so you spend a lot of time on this island, and it's kind of traumatic, and you spend a lot of time with Lev, and then you get through this climactic final battle. All the Scars are dead, all the wolves are dead, so you're kind of on your own, and you leave the island and you go back to Seattle. You make it back to the aquarium, and Owen and Mel are dead because of Ellie.
Right.
And I've skipped a bunch of stuff, but anyway. So she arrives.
Abby's friends are all dying.
Abby's friends are all dead. Ellie has killed them all,
including a pregnant woman.
Yep, including a pregnant woman. She is enraged, and she goes to find Ellie. She said Ellie has dropped her map in the aquarium. She finds it. Abby finds it, so she knows where they're at. She goes there, finds them, and then stories converge. Ellie and Abby fight to the death. At this point, you're still playing as Abby, and you're being told to kill Ellie, and then every now and then it'll switch to Ellie, and you're being told to kill Abby. But you spend a lot of time with Abby, and you like her a lot because she's kind of a good person.
Pretty sympathetic character.
Pretty sympathetic character, and she hasn't killed a bunch of Ellie's friends. No, she did kill Joel.
She did kill Joel.
and Jesse right in front of her. But you might say neither of these people are likable, but they're also both likable. They're both equally likable, potentially.
They're just living in a tough apocalyptic world.
World.
People kill people in this world. That's just the way things go.
And so we're at the final battle, I think, right? Where Abby's fighting Ellie, and then Ellie gets the best of Abby, I believe. Doesn't kill her because Dina runs in. And Lev is also there, and they all just kind of go, all right, we're going to go our separate ways. And Abby's like, I never want to see you again. Get out of here.
Right.
And I'm like, dang, awesome. Game's over. Nope. There's more left. So cut to a year or so later. I don't know. I think a year later.
Probably. Take that long for Tommy to recover from getting shot in the head.
Yeah, I did not expect him to be alive. I don't know how he did that. Ellie and Dina have settled in a beautiful farmhouse out in somewhere. outside of Jackson. Beautiful farmland with the baby.
Dina's child.
They're living just a beautiful life. But Ellie is having nightmares and things, and she still hasn't given up this hatred for Abby. And wouldn't you know it, Joel shows up, and he's like, nope. The other one, Tommy. Joel is still dead.
From the dead.
Tommy shows up, and he's like, okay, Ellie, we found where Abby probably is. Let's go get her. And, he's like, I can't go because I've been shot in the head. And I'm an old man now. And Dina's like, get the heck out of here, Joel. Again, Tommy. Get the hell out of here, Tommy. We don't want you here. And Ellie doesn't really say anything, but you get the idea that she's probably going to go after Abby, probably. Mm-hmm. So she has a conversation with Dina where she's like, listen, I have to do this. This war, I need this war to end. I need to finish it. And Dina's like, well, if you love me, stay. Or go, I guess. And then Ellie leaves.
Dang.
She goes on a journey to San Diego, San Francisco,
somewhere in California.
I don't know, somewhere in California. A beautiful place. And then we find Abby and Lev are there, and they're looking for Firefly camp to join up with them. This kind of haven for people that they're looking for, and that Owen was also looking for before he was brutally murdered. And they get captured by this group of terrible people because this is The Last of Us, and every city has a group of terrible people, I guess. They get captured, and then Ellie's looking for them, and then she figures out that they've been captured by these people, and she goes on a rampage, and she catches up to these people where Abby and Lev are being held captive, and you find out that they had tried to escape, and so they are being punished by being strung up on poles and crucified, essentially.
In the ocean.
In the ocean. And so she goes out there and with bloodlust, and Abby is strung up on a pole, and then she gets her
for
down.
The killing.
And they're both, at this point, Ellie is essentially bleeding out, dying. She's very injured. And Abby is also extremely
starved and
dying,
also
in bad shape.
Yeah.
And so they walk towards the beach, and there are two boats, and they're like, can we just go our separate ways? And so they're about to get into a boat, and then Ellie's like, she gets a flashback of Joel being dead in front of her, and she's like, oh, I gotta kill you. And then they have this brutal fight on the beach. I have this brutal fight on the beach as both of them. And it's very hard to watch and press triangle when you don't want to. I gotta press triangle. I gotta press square. And then this is the point in the game where everybody goes, oh. So Ellie makes the decision not to kill Abby because she has a flashback of, she sees Joel sitting on the porch with a guitar. And for some reason, this inspires her not to kill Abby at this point. And that's all the information we know. She lets Abby go. And they go their separate ways. And then Abby goes back to her home to find Dina not there. She goes upstairs after losing a couple fingers. And then you get an in-depth flashback where all of my problems with the game I had were solved. Because you finally get the character development I was so lacking. Right?
Yes.
No, I wasn't lacking. I was just searching for this conversation that they have. Because you're in this flashback where Ellie approaches Joel on the porch playing guitar after the incident in the bar where that guy gets mad at Ellie and Dina for kissing. And so anyway, she goes up to Joel and he's like, sorry, I was just trying to protect you or whatever. And Ellie's like, you should have let me die, essentially. You should let me die. There could have been a cure. Why did you save me? Why did you do this? And it ends, I don't remember the rest of the conversation, but it ends with Joel asking for forgiveness, essentially. And Ellie says, I'll try, essentially. Maybe. And so then like use your critical thinking skills, because this is where people apparently have no media literacy, because they don't understand themes or why anybody does anything in media, because they think people are like, why didn't Ellie kill Abby, because this is dumb. No, because Ellie wasn't fighting this war because she was mad at Abby. She was fighting this war because she hadn't forgiven Joel. And the story doesn't end until she forgives Joel. And this is amazing. And people are dumb for not seeing it. Because it's really good storytelling.
There's even a line after Ellie has given up killing Abby, finally. She says, just take him. And, people who aren't listening will assume that she's talking about Lev, who's sitting in the boat over there dying. Right. But I think what she's actually talking about is Joel.
Yes.
Just take him. Like, she already had.
Because this is the complex world of The Last of Us where, guys, Joel is a bad person. He is a murderer. He probably deserved what he got. But we like him, so we're mad at Abby for killing him. We're like, oh, Abby is the murderer. And then, you're playing as Ellie. Ellie is a terrible person. She's a terrible murderer. So everybody in this world, you have to be a terrible murderer to survive in this world. This is just the status quo. It's terrible. It's terrible. And so you have to do something interesting with that. You can't just be like, you can't
Abby
be like
wins.
You can't be heroes and villains. It's
Ellie
just
wins.
It's just people surviving and finding some sort of happiness and love in the midst of this terrible situation. And it was brilliant. I loved the game. I thought it was great. I finally finished it. I thought, I went through many different emotions about it. I thought this is really boring. I thought this is kind of fun, but I don't understand why nobody is having any interesting conversations or character development. And then I'm like, oh, I got to play this entire game again as a different character.
Right. I already know what's going to happen.
Yeah. But I thought it was amazing. I can't wait for the HBO
second season. Oh my
season.
Gosh. It better be well
better be really
adapted.
Good. Yeah. Joel better die in the first episode, or it's a bad show.
That'd be sick. Pedro Pascal is taken out of the show immediately. Yeah. I can't imagine.
There's no way. If they're cool, they'll do it. But
might I recommend another Naughty Dog game for you? Mm-hmm. That's not as good in terms of the story, but the gameplay is miles ahead. Well, maybe not miles, but different in a better way, more action-packed. It's going to be Uncharted 4: A Thief's End.
I've heard this is a good game.
Yes. We're going to be looking at Nathan Drake, the treasure hunter, sort of an Indiana Jones type.
Now, is it anything like the movie with Tom Holland? Because
it's going to be way better than that.
The movie is bad. Yeah.
I will say that the treasure hunt that they go on is similar.
Okay.
But you actually get all of the history and like a lot more. You feel a lot more from the historical perspective and in terms of learning the I forget the guy who hid all the treasure, but like how he was kind of falling into this descent of madness as he was hiding all this treasure, and it reflects our main character's story a little bit. We get a little bit, there's something there that I think you will enjoy, and there's a lot more gunfighting and crazy set pieces and seamless transitions. It's like I said, the story is not as amazing.
Yeah.
But the gameplay is better. And there's I want to say there's no looting random things for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You're going to get all
was a bit much.
And there's no crafting. It's almost entirely just guns and ammo.
Gotcha. Nice.
And then like platform puzzling. That maybe not as amazing, but the gunfights are really good. So
nice.
That could be worth your time as well. Probably pretty cheap at this point in the year. So
I started to get into the whole stealth combat. I was not applying myself very well for most of the game, but I started to find some enjoyment in it. So
it can get pretty deep. From my, I mean, I didn't play either. Well, I played a little bit of probably half of the first Last of Us.
Yeah.
But it can get pretty deep once you like really start using all the things you're crafting and like coming up with traps and the hide and go seek nature of it.
Yeah. I got to the point at the end where she comes up on the I forget what their organization is called, but the people that are holding Abby, and you have to stealth around for so long, and I'm like, I know this is about to end. Can we just get through this? So I tried to just run through it a couple times, and you can't do that. You gotta apply a little effort to setting up some explosive devices and using your silencer and crawling through the weeds, all that stuff. But it was very fun. Add it to the list of 2 video games I've finished in my entire life.
And I'm so excited for you. I genuinely, I hope that I mean, obviously the bar is set high, so maybe you won't enjoy the next game that you play as much. But I hope that you see like a little bit of hope in video games and like give them more of a try. I think you should retry God of War.
Yeah, I need to get back into it.
Because I think the story there is really good, and the second one is even better.
Yeah.
You should give Uncharted 4 a try. What other games did you buy? Because you bought a bunch.
I didn't buy. I had gotten the PlayStation Plus thing, so I had a few that were included in that, but I don't have that anymore.
I see.
Including God of War. Yeah, I think this gave me a better perspective on the pacing and length of video games. Because I think I probably made it 5% into God of War, and I was like, "Wow, this is long and boring." But I probably hadn't gotten to anything interesting yet.
Did you fight Baldur?
I don't think so. Maybe? I don't know.
The shirtless dude with all the tattoos.
Oh, I fought him. Yeah.
Okay. That's the first interesting thing that happens. Yeah. I guess you fight that big troll.
I got bogged down in when we start going to different realms, and there's like there's a bunch of like the same goblin enemies coming at you, and I was like, I don't know about this. And there were like quite a few days in between playtime, and I had lost track of what the narrative was.
Right.
So that doesn't help either. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll get back into it.
I will say, for the most part, with God of War at least, there are like elements in the story later in the game that make reference to the original 3 games from the PS3 and 2.
Yeah.
PS2 and 3, I should say. And so basically, our boy Kratos was a Spartan.
Yeah.
Back in the Greek times. And we find out that his dad is Zeus.
Yep.
And also that his skin is white because it's the ashes of his first family.
Oh.
Perfect, like
interesting.
Molded onto his skin forever, as punishment for betraying the Spartans, I think, or making Zeus mad. I'm not sure.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then he went and killed the entire Greek pantheon and released Pandora's box onto the world. And this like started up the Norse mythology and all that sort of stuff. So then he went to Midgard.
Midgard.
And his his giant wife, who's not actually a giant, but she's a giant race from Jotunheim, but she's not a huge person. Portrayed by what's-her-face from Daredevil, the main girl from Daredevil.
Deborah Ann Wall.
That could be.
Karen Page.
Yes, Karen Page from Daredevil. Yes, she plays her.
She's great.
Yeah.
All right,
good
guys.
Game. Both of them.
All right. Anything else we need to get off our chests? Media-wise, movies, TV shows. I saw Godzilla -1 last night. I thought it was phenomenal. Josh was seeing it tonight. We will discuss.
I'm going to see it tonight. Yep.
Next time.
Go watch The Holdovers. We are officially in December now. I don't know how much longer this movie's going to have a run in theaters, but you definitely need to go see this movie. It was amazing.
Okay. I was thrown off
go watch
by you
The Marvels.
deducting a half star.
Yeah, okay. So I wrote my review, right? And I said -0.5 a star. So 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah. I was like, that's not perfect.
-0.5 a star for being a Christmas movie, meaning I'm only going to watch it around Christmas time. But it's going to be like the kind of movie I have.
Sure.
All right, I'm going to have this movie.
Okay.
So I'm going to watch it every year.
Right.
Kind of a movie.
So that's a good.
That's a good movie. It's a great movie. Okay.
Okay.
So get excited. It's good. It's going to make you laugh. You're going to feel feelings. I know you like to feel those feelings. And it's got like this, it's very, like, it's shot on film, and it's got the Knives Out-esque title credits where they're like kind of like weirdly wiggling on the screen.
Yeah.
You know, like when they put them on the pieces of film back in the day or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how old films were made, but
something like that. They just put them on there, tape them on there.
Yeah,
little stickers.
So it's very much a vibe.
Okay.
Of nostalgia.
It's a vibe.
Yeah. It's a good time. I really enjoyed it. So, and Dominic Sessa, I don't know his last name, is introduced as one of the main characters here, and it's his first big performance.
I see.
And I think he does a pretty good job. Maybe not in the first 30 minutes or so, but he grows into the character, I'll say.
I see.
So
good for him.
And obviously Paul Giamatti is killing it. So you guys definitely need to see this movie.
His breakout role.
Paul Giamatti?
Yeah, his first screen debut. Paul.
Wow.
He's a good actor, probably. I saw him in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Did you see him in Hunger Games?
Is he in Hunger Games? Paul Giamatti?
He's in the... Oh, I'm thinking of The Truman Show.
Oh.
Where he is standing. It's sort of similar to The Game Makers.
Sort of similar.
That I'm thinking of, yeah. Sorry.
Interesting.
My gosh, The Truman Show is so good. I can't believe you fell asleep during that movie.
Yeah. I'll watch it again.
Actually, I can't believe it. You had just eaten dinner.
It was very late. Man. I was very tired.
Yeah.
I think it was like 7 o'clock, but I was very tired.
You're like, midnight.
Yeah.
Okay. I suppose I'm supposed to end it, which is why it's not ending.
I suppose.
So this has been Quarter Twins, episode 67.
Yeah.
And we're still here. We're still doing it.
The next thing you might
see excited.
Might be our 2023 rankings. That might be the next thing you see.
Oh my gosh. Really?
Because it's December 1st, and January is right around the corner. So.
Are we going to do it in January or wait?
We can do our rankings in January and then do the official quarters in March when the Oscars happens.
I see. So there might not be another podcast till February?
I mean, we can. No, we'll fit a podcast in. I'm just saying.
Okay.
The nenext thing, maybe January 1st comes out. One of our rankings. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, I see you. I see. Well, I still gotta see.
There are a bunch of December movies.
Saltburn, Wonka, Boy and the Heron.
Wonka. Yeah.
Godzilla -1.
Yep. Rebel Moon.
Rebel Moon.
Yeah.
Maybe Ferrari. That comes out on Christmas
Ferrari,
Day.
Yeah. Hopefully.
So
Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
My gosh.
Let's go.
Dude, how many times have I seen that stupid trailer?
Let's go. Yeah. He's got a job now. I'm the
I
king
finally
of
got a
Atlantis.
job. Oh my gosh. Literally, there is one shot other than the Tamora Morrison. I do like Tamora Morrison. Other than that, there's only one part of the entire trailer that I like, and it's when Manta puts the two halves of the trident together. It looks cool.
Dude,
that's it.
I'm literally not going to see the Marvels, and I'm going to be at Aquaman opening day. I'm telling you right now. I will be there opening day. I'm so excited for this. I
can't believe you.
It looks so good. I can't wait.
It looks terrible.
It looks so good. It looks so fun.
I need you to watch that movie and then watch Wakanda Forever.
What about Wakanda Forever?
Why you need to watch that one after Aquaman, because it's the better Aquaman movie.
Oh no,
with an underwater civilization.
They're doing different things. Also, the Atlantis in Aquaman is like 1,000,000 times better than Talokan in Wakanda Forever.
What?
Talokan is like this muddy,
Talokan
disgusting city, and it looks gross, and I wouldn't want to be there. Atlantis, however, like this beautiful neon city, and everybody's having a great time. It looks great. So,
but not everybody likes him. You can't make everyone happy.
He can't make everyone happy.
Trains derail.
And maybe
sometimes Amber Heard loses a trial and has to punch some glass. Who knows?
I'm gonna kill Aquaman and destroy everything he ever loved.
Yeah, like I'm watching this every single time I've been to the movies since this trailer came out. I've watched this stupid trailer. I just hear the bring and see this iceberg, and I'm like, please.
Yeah,
so
I get
annoying.
so excited every time I hear that. Like, yes, the Aquaman trailer.
Dude, no,
it's a vibe.
He's like, I don't get it, dude.
Real kings build bridges.
He's oh my gosh, dude. Do not call me brother.
Yes.
It's just like, it looks so bad.
Oh, let's go.
You're not as bad at this as you think.
It's the Black Trident. It's so good.
In King Atlan's time, there were 7 kingdoms.
2 tridents. I can't wait.
It was a scourge.
Can we talk about how that Argyle trailer plays in every movie I see? The movie about Dua Lipa. I'm like, get it out of here. I would rather.
Dude, that movie looks so bad.
I see it every time. Trailer is edited pretty well, though. It's edited really nicely with the music and stuff. But
I do like Sam Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell's great.
But I'm not a fan. I'm so sorry to say this. I'm not a fan of Bryce Dallas Howard.
Me neither.
And I'm not a fan of. I'm not a huge fan of the nerd guy. What's his face? He was Superman.
Oh, Henry Cavill, the nerd guy.
Henry Cavill, yeah. He plays Warhammer. He's a nerd.
Oh yes, he does play Warhammer.
He paints little figures.
I mean, I like him. I like him in Mission Impossible Fallout, but other than that, I don't love his Superman. I love his Superman movies. I think there are better choices for actors.
Wah, wah.
So good. Man of Steel's great. Batman vs Superman is amazing.
Big splash.
Zack Snyder's the best filmmaker alive. I don't know what to tell you.
Whoa.
Rebel Moon coming out December something.
That's exciting. I am excited about that.
Yeah.
But if it sucks, I'll probably never watch a sci-fi movie again that's trying to be Star Wars.
The Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes trailer is really good.
I have seen that trailer now because it was unavoidable. I was
what
like,
a wonderful day. That's what he says at the end.
Is that what he says? I thought he said, "Who wants something?"
No.
Okay.
He says, "What a wonderful day."
I'm sure that trailer will play when I go see Godzilla in a few hours here.
It will.
And I'll hear him say that now. So all the monkeys can talk now?
Yeah. That's the timeline.
And all of the humans are dumb now.
Yeah. You saw the last movie. That's what happened after the last movie.
Okay. Well,
remember the virus that it evolved and started making the humans dumb? Yeah. So now all the humans are monkeys and all the monkeys are smart.
Wow. It really has become the kingdom of the planet of the apes.
Exactly. Exactly. I'll admit I'm a bit skeptical without my boy Matt Reeves behind the camera. But we'll see. We'll see.
Dude,
It should be.
You know who's behind the camera? Gareth Edwards.
Is he?
He's behind it. Yeah, he holds the camera when he's directing.
In Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes? The new one?
No.
No.
I'm just saying, as a director, he's actually behind the camera.
Neither Matt Reeves or the other guy are involved in this one, which is why I'm skeptical.
I see. Is your boy Andy Samberg going to be in it? That's his name.
No.
Andy Serkis.
Samberg will not be appearing, and neither is Andy Serkis, because he died in the last one. Not Andy Serkis.
What?
Caesar, the ape. The
Oh my
Bane
gosh.
guy. Andy
Scared me there.
Serkis, dead at 46 or however old he is. 46?
46. Wow.
I don't know.
He does not look good for 46.
It's a bit generous, I guess. What is he, 50? It's basically 46. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay.
We should stop.
Yeah. Should we?
Yeah.
He's 59 years old.
Oh,
he's
goodness.
almost 60.
Wow, he's an old man.
Okay.
Old guy.
Well, he was in The
Supreme
Lord
Leader
of the
Snoke.
Rings.
He was. He was also in The Prestige.
Do you wear wigs?
Maybe. Good reference.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I haven't seen any of those movies.
Lord of the Rings?
I haven't even I haven't seen any of them.
Let me tell
I
you.
haven't seen The Hobbit or anything.
Well, let me tell you. Lord of the Rings, overrated. Not that
Trash.
good. Not as good as people say they are.
Yeah, it's I've said this several times. It's the biggest part of like nerd culture that I have zero interest in.
Yeah.
And I like fantasy, but
Yeah. There's
maybe I'll start with the Lord of the Rings TV show on Amazon.
I would not recommend that. It is not a great time. It is not a great time. You
know what you should watch instead?
I don't know.
Is,
you surprise me sometimes. There's a lot of world building, so you might be like, "Wow."
I do like how J.R.R. Tolkien or whatever his name is.
You got it. George R.R. Martin.
I was like, is that even right? J.R.R. Tolkien.
J.R.R. Tolkien and J.R.R. Martin. Yeah. Isn't that strange?
George R.R.
But those are both correct.
Yeah. Weird. Anyway, how he was like a linguist in college or whatever, and he wrote an entire fake language and then wrote a book.
Crazy.
With all the world building.
Yeah.
I do like
Correct.
just knowing that fact is enough to make me want to watch these movies.
Yeah.
Just the teaser of world building.
The teaser.
Just knowing that there's this history of world building in the background, I'm like, oh.
Oh, piques my interest.
Maybe I'll be into that.
Maybe
Okay.
I'll dip my toes in there.
This has been Quarter Twins episode 65. This is the outro's outro. We are out of here. We'll see you in the future. Maybe next year. I don't know when this is coming out. I might take more than 2 days to edit this to give it some actual panache.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys next time for a podcast or maybe our 2023 movie rankings.
We'll see.
Exciting. I am gonna amend my earlier idea of doing all the movies I saw for the first time this year.
Oh, yeah.
Because that list has passed 65 movies, and I think it was just gonna be too many. I didn't want to make a 2-hour video.
Yeah. That'd be a lot.
So, because I tried it. I tried talking about, like, starting at the top. I went down through the top 10, and I made it. It was about 40 minutes before I got to the 5th movie, and I was like, well, something is wrong.
Yeah.
It's too many movies. So,
oh boy.
Yeah, I'm gonna trim it down to movies and TV shows. That way it's still long, but I won't talk as much about the bottom ones probably.
Yeah.
So, I might even, who knows, maybe I'll do a tier list or something instead, just to break it up
Make it
a little bit. Because you did your fun little that was cute movies.
Yeah.
Movies that your mom says that was cute at the end of.
Yeah. My strategy is just to turn the camera on and start talking about the list and see where it goes. Where it goes.
And might I say, your video last year is probably the best piece of content that Quarter Twins has produced, I might say.
I don't know about that.
And I was not involved at all, which really makes me feel good about myself. Just kidding.
We've done better things.
No, I know.
Surely.
Yeah.
We're great. We're a great time.
I have fun every single time.
Every time.
So we'll see you when one of those videos comes out, and we look forward to your continued support. Shout out to Abdi if you watch this episode all the way through. I'll know we're homies for life. Saw this. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay.
Bye-bye.
And we'll see you guys. Bye.